You straight up cuckooed that dude, bro. Oh my God.
You've got all your Charger gear on because
I look good. I got big energy every day. Let's go!
And he is dicked.
Blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
That's right.
You have to love what you're seeing on tape if you're a Chargers fan, especially for the future with Justin
Herbert on the move and throws and touchdown.
Well, good ball, Herb.
Players, coaches, staff, fans, together we can create something truly special.
Stay tuned for some good content.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of jerseys and helmets, but of football. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of the end zone. That's a signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the Charger Chat.
welcome back, everybody, to the Charger Chat. I'm your co-host, Dog, sitting with my brothers, Kev, Hug, and Duggan.
Great balls of fire.
And Kyle, the coach, Duggan.
What's up, guys?
Holy smokes, folks.
Holy
We were like,
shit.
we were all kind of prepping for Monday to be a big day, but we don't know what. We don't know who. We don't know why. We don't know where. We don't know when. But we knew that something would happen. And man, we just got like 3 punches. Just bah, bah.
It was like 3 Telesco ninja stars, like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't know why I forgot that when like tampering or whatever it is starts today, that means it's all done deals.
yeah.
I don't know why I forgot. I was like, oh yeah, okay, Thursday, cool. That's when free agency starts.
Yeah.
No. It's all done. It all happened. It's 12 hours and game over.
The wheels are moving. So.
And when I hear
That's crazy.
when I hear tampering, I think of like you're going to jail. I don't think this is good.
bad.
Let's get this done.
yeah.
Let's break
It's
some
like, all right,
rules.
don't tell anyone about this.
So obviously we've got that to talk about today, folks. And there's been some sprinklings of other news that have happened prior to today. So before we get to all the stuff that's happened today, let's take a look back at this last week. First, who knew Justin Herbert's birthday was coming around the corner? We didn't think to wish him a happy early birthday, but hey, happy late birthday, Mr. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Congratulations.
Happy
and how did he
birthday.
spend it? How did he spend it?
Like a 16-year-old boy.
Racing.
K1 indoor racing.
Yeah, I guess
love
Justin
it.
Herbert didn't have a childhood, so now that he's on his
He
way
just
to
played
be
football.
He just-
the best
yeah.
Now to
quarterback
ride.
ever.
Doesn't have to train on his birthdays anymore. He can go ride some go-karts.
Yeah,
Dude, it's awesome because you can see like because a few people
all
posted
the
about
guys
it.
that were with him.
And Drew Tranquil posted it. Like they showed like the leaderboard. It was Tranquil, Badgley, Murray, Hunter Henry, and then Justin's dad, Mark,
And Gabe Neighbors.
Neighbors.
God.
It's like okay, question. How do you go to somebody's birthday party and then leave the team for another team? Like I don't see that. I see this little
Hunter,
connection
yeah.
here. They went racing, little Hunter Henry
Ooh.
action. I feel like there's a little bit more there
Yeah.
than we've already kind of
stop
written him
leading
off
us
like he's
on,
not
Hunter.
leaving.
Yeah.
Stop leading us on. We know,
know.
you know
Cut
what
it
you
out.
want. We know what you want. Just give it to us already.
Yeah, for
Right?
Pete's
That
sake.
being said, Melvin Gordon does come back and work out with the
Yeah,
guys.
but he wasn't invited to this special boy's birthday. So
He can come work out, but
It's
he's
my
not a
birthday
boy.
and f***ing Broncos if I want to.
You didn't get tri-tip after birthday tri-tip.
yeah, no
Hell
brisket.
no.
So that was a bit of fun news that we saw. It was always nice to see the guys having a good time. Then it came out, the Chargers official picks. 13 we all know was going to be our first round pick. 47, 77, 97 is our compensatory pick in round 3. I believe that is for Phillip
For
Rivers.
Phil Dog.
Bless you, Phil. Thanks for giving us at least a compensatory pick. And then 119, 160, 198, and Desmond King gives us a little gift before going to the Titans, giving us an extra pick in round 6. And then our 7th round pick, number 241. So it's going to be 9 picks total.
Hey, dude, we got 4 picks in the top 100. Like that's a solid way to kind of build up your
That is
roster
nice.
and build some depth. I'm excited about that.
That is nice. We'll see if we actually maintain all of these picks or if Tom Telesco decides to get a little funny with his money and, move some shake and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens on draft day. That's still a ways away because there's still so much stuff happening. Finally, they gave us the cap number, the official cap number, $182.5 million per club. To compare that to last year, that last year's was 198. So I know I saw a tweet where
That's a lot of money.
they were expecting it to go up each year. I think this is one of the first years where it actually went down.
Yeah, it's like 17 million. That's a lot of money to have to try and figure out.
I mean, they lost
after
a
the
lot of
fact.
money because of last year. There was
Yeah, it was a
they
big
gotta
deal.
find they gotta we're turning off lights, everybody. We gotta save on energy. We gotta I gotta make this back. Papa's gotta win a new pair of shoes, buddy. We'll see. We'll see what happens because after finding that number out, we knew where the Chargers were sitting as far as cap space availability, and there was talks about trying to trade Trey Turner, but obviously nobody was biting on this $11 million hot
Shocking.
garbage. So we just let him go, as we probably were all anticipating would happen. So that saves us $11 million in cap space.
I pray to God he goes to the Raiders or the Broncos. I pray to God. And
Yeah.
Kenneth Murray just needs to blitz that lazy ass every single play.
Well, that would be at least twice a year.
We called it. We called him getting cut.
I called it like
was-
week
with our-
5.
You did.
I know, but like we don't usually get anything right
No,
on this
not at
podcast.
all.
If you listen to us frequently, we're
Yeah.
always wrong. So we
100%.
finally got something
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
So
buddy.
you're welcome.
We can't get our bolt predictions right, but we can get who's going to get cut right. So
One a year. We're a 1 a year podcast.
Yeah.
We just wasted ours
there it
there.
was. And this other cut, boy, we didn't predict this was going to happen. Casey Hayward, veteran cornerback for the Chargers.
Holy
Man.
shit. This came out of
Ruthless.
absolute nowhere.
I mean, it did and it didn't. I mean, the guy obviously played fantastic for us. We've enjoyed him being a part of this organization. He was a Walter Payton nominee for the team. Obviously, and was the team captain. So obviously had an impact on this team. And we didn't want, I don't think we didn't necessarily see it. We didn't want it to happen. But if you started looking at, if we cut this person, how much money will we save? Trey Turner was absolutely at the top. He's
Yeah.
gone. Right under him was Casey Hayward, man.
But Casey's still
But he
like
was
one of the
good.
top.
Yeah.
He's one of the top like lockdown guys in the league. Like
Yeah.
he had a bad year last year. We can't argue that. Like that's pretty much a fact. But years prior, like he had the lowest percentage of pass completions to him and of any cornerback in
I
the
totally
league.
agree,
So
dude.
I was kind of shocked and to be fully honest, like a little disappointed in this.
Okay, so I think for every Charger fan, there's like a little bit in the back of your mind that goes, man, that sucks. But okay, we have a new staff and they want their own guys type of a thing. Like if Coach Lynn was still the coach, regardless of GM, Tommy T, whatever, if Coach Lynn was still the coach and all this stuff started happening,
Murder.
there would be so much anger.
Murder.
Yes.
Mhm.
Twitter would be blowing up. But for whatever reason, being that there's a coach, there's like this added like, okay, I guess we'll just hang tight and see what happens type of a
Benefit
feeling.
of the doubt, man.
Yeah.
That's what this is. This is benefit of the doubt.
Right.
Casey Hayward, he's good, man. Like, I don't think we were overpaying. Like, yeah, you free up cap space, but you still got to sign a guy to replace him now.
Mhm.
So it's like,
Yeah, dude, it's that grass is greener thing.
he,
Like,
and he was a
it's
captain.
nice
He was
to-
a leader. He's been in the organization. He was like our most tenured player outside of like Keenan Allen. And the guy was a stud. So it is hard to see him go. The only thing I can think is, one, he had a bad year last year. I thought it was injuries. Maybe it wasn't. And the scheme that we're moving to is a little bit more too high stuff and running more man. And maybe that doesn't fit his skill set as much. Those are things that we didn't always do a lot under Gus. We were very much a cover 3 team, which isn't a whole lot of a demand on a corner. You don't have a huge responsibility for being aggressive and pressing up on wide receivers, having that quick tip twitch, being able to run with guys type of attitude. Maybe I don't get to see it enough. I mean, how often is a corner actually getting even any like film time? When you watch an NFL game on TV, you don't see corners unless they do a
they're
replay
running
and
off
they
the
get
top of
burnt.
the screen pretty
Right.
quick.
So it's hard for me to say, but I get that. To me, that's the only thing that I can justify in cutting him
Mhm.
and freeing up cap space. I'm not captivated by cap space. So
Yeah,
to see him get cut
we
just for
understand.
cap space doesn't make it hurts. That one was hard to see.
The one thing I think is interesting too, and I hope what he established with the organization in terms of, go with me on this. The last 2 years we've picked up Packers, right? We just picked up a Packer, which we'll get to later, and Brian Bulaga last year.
Brian Bulaga, Iowa.
So far, if you look at Hayward, like he was one of our best free agent pickups in recent
Oh
memory.
yeah,
You
T's
can't argue
best.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, by far. So like what he established, I'm hoping the trend continues where these these guys that were, released by the Packers,
That
we
is
picked them up
true.
and they became studs.
We're
So
like the Notre
Bulaga,
Dame Packers. That's what we are.
We
Yeah.
like a green
Yeah.
over here at Charger.
I'm not mad at it. It's fun. I
The
got to
Irish
go up to my
Packers.
wife and be like, hey, honey. You know that your center?
Yeah, he was
he's
awesome
ours
last
now.
year.
You too, Bulaga and
That's
Linsley, baby.
So yeah, it sucked to see it happen.
Yeah, it did.
wasn't necessarily as stung by it. It's just one of those things where it's like you hate to see it happen, but it's out of my control. I can't do anything about it. That's their
Right,
decision.
right.
And obviously, I don't think they would just release him just for the cap space. I'm sure that they have a plan on where they're planning to spend this money that they're saving.
Mike Davis.
And they obviously think wherever it's going to be is going to be better. So far, it seems to be Mike Davis. But again, we'll get to that here shortly.
It changes the whole dynamic in a lot of ways too of how we look at this draft and what we really need.
The needs
like what's
shifted
becoming
fast.
hard real quick with Hayward
Sunday,
being
Monday
cut.
this week. We're recording this Monday night. Sunday, Monday, everything seems to be a little bit different now.
It does.
Come Monday
A
night.
little bit, yeah. We still need offensive linemen, yes.
Yeah.
But but in terms of cornerback, like
Immediate need
if you
is
look at-
starting to shift.
Mhm.
yeah, you're looking at you need somebody to get on the field and play cornerback. We don't have
we
very
need
much on this
two.
roster. yeah, we need two of them, so we need to get somebody else. So it'll be interesting what direction. There's a lot of guys available right now, and it's kind of weird how this whole free agency has started. There's not been a lot of names going off. There's been a few, like the Patriots are just gobbling up everybody, but there's definitely some names of cornerbacks like Patrick Peterson, AJ Bouye, Malcolm Butler, Desmond Trufant, Richard Sherman. Like there's a lot of these guys that are options, and maybe it's a 1 year, fill kind of deal. I think a lot of these new contracts that are going to come up in the next day or so are going to be shorter contracts. I think we got through some of our bigger ones today, and then it's going to start becoming these 1 year, this cap is low, play that 1 year out, do your best, make your money, and then there'll be more money to sign a bigger deal. So I think it'll be interesting to see what they do.
100%. Going into today, after the Casey Hayward cut, Chargers had $43.5 million available in cap space. That was touted as the fourth highest amount going into Monday. And there was some weird news because, again, we didn't really know where 100% our needs were going to be. Rayshawn Jenkins put out a tweet showing off some of his highlights, and it was really cool. His tweet was, 2 years starting. I'm just getting started. Excited to see where we headed next. Little vague. We like the Chargers. Rayshawn, are we?
No,
you got a posse with you? What are you talking about over there?
He called it. He called it yesterday. Like he, loose lip sync tight ships. You know what I mean? Like he just kind of gave it away in this not very well planned out.
Yeah,
tweet,
it didn't have any other team logo on there. There wasn't any hashtag other team business going on. But we did find out today. Rayshawn Jenkins is on his way to the Jacksonville Jaguars on a 4-year deal. Good for him. I would have liked to have seen him back personally. I thought he played really well last year, and safety, I think, is starting to look a bit more like a need as well.
Jesus. Our secondary is just crazy, dude.
I've seen it. We're not the Jack Boys anymore.
Good
There's
golly.
Derwin James is the only one left that was a Jack Boy.
He
So.
is
And Mike
the
Davis.
final Jack boy.
And Mike Davis. You got two.
We got
Yeah,
two.
yeah.
We got two OGs.
But it was a big hit. One of the first names that got signed today was John Johnson.
Right.
He
the one that
signed-
we've all been
he
talking
signed
about.
with the Brown. Yeah, everyone and their
Leonard
mom
Floyd
was
signed-
pulling
man,
for him. Yeah, all the guys that were connected to Staley through the Rams got lifted pretty quick or re-signed.
Tommy
like,
T
with
is
the Rams.
just killing us, man. Like I just wish we had a hint. Give us
He's
even
so
just
good.
send out like a those serial killers send out those creepy encrypted
Send
like
us some
letters.
puzzles,
All
Tommy.
those little boxes.
Yeah, like a puzzle that if you're a devoted enough fan, you can crack it. Send us some
Send
of
us
those.
on a scavenger hunt, Tommy. If I got to find two pencils that are number 3, fine. But just give me a hint.
Give me hope. Give me something to look for. Like I didn't see nothing that's happened so far did I anticipate. And it's really pissing me off.
That's okay.
Having to host a podcast.
It's made
where
it
be wrong all the
exciting.
time.
It's made it fun and exciting. So
It has, sure.
it's
I prefer surprise parties
I do
than
not
plan
like
parties.
surprise
So
parties.
I'll
I like to
take-
plan
I'll
my
take
own
You
parties.
gotta
I love reading it and being like, what?
Right. All day.
That's my
all day
favorite.
we've been texting with each other about just all these late breaking news, and the first one to hit was the big balls of our center Corey Linsley. $62.5 million. Just put him on the
There's
table.
your title.
Bam.
There's your title.
thud.
Yeah, like
Big balls, Lindsay.
holy smokes! We all
Corey, big balls, Lindsay.
we were looking at it like this guy could be a pretty big deal. He was the best center last year from Green Bay. And boy, do we need a center. So it was just like, come on, give us Linsley. And we did,
Yeah.
and we got it. So for $62.5 million, that is such
Yeah.
a big chunk of change.
Highest paid center in the league, but
Jeez.
they got creative. Like everyone was like, oh shit, we overpaid.
It's been so long since we've had Nick Hardwick. Since Nick Hardwick, we have Pouncey gave us a year. I guess Pouncey
There's an
gave us a
excitement
year,
with
but
Pouncey, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's nice to have that solid piece, and people don't understand how much a veteran center helps your quarterback.
Oh,
It's more than
yeah.
just getting him the ball. He can now take his mind off of pass pro and running game, like getting shifts called. This guy's going to be able to help him so much that's a huge signing for the Chargers.
Big time.
and it was pretty sneaky with the accounting because he's only hitting like $6.5 million against the cap. So there's still a lot of money left.
Yeah, with the amount of space that the Chargers had in cap space, it was a good chunk of change. It was the fourth highest. But we still got to be gentle with everything because we're starting to see. I mean, I think we were, prior to everything happening, we were the second lowest as far as players that we had signed to our team. I think we only had like 44, 45 guys. So we still have a lot to make up as far as filling up this roster. So yeah, we want to sign these guys to great big contracts like Linsley, but could you take 6.5 this year? We'll pay you back next year. Like, we're good for it, right?
Yeah. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah. So great signing, which is awesome. It gives Dan Feeney a chance to go over to the position that we all know that he should be playing, which is guard.
Well, and it was interesting on that too because Warren Sharp of Sharp Football on Twitter posted from worst to first for Justin Herbert, and he said Chargers 2020. And I love Dan Feeney, so I sang this kind of
Gently.
sucks, but Dan Feeney allowed I'll say it softly, allowed the most hurries, 24
hurries.
and pressures, 33 of any center
That's a
last
lot.
year. New center Corey Linsley allowed the fewest hurries, 1, and pressures, 4 of any center last year, minimum 700 snaps. So talk about a fucking upgrade there in terms of the center position.
I
Zero
will
penalties.
But Heavy had no guard help.
Absolutely.
No guard help, and it was his first year playing exclusively at center.
Yeah.
Like it's different. It's a different situation than a 4-year starter.
You have no guard help. You don't know how pressures are given. It's not just him versus one guy and he lost. It's
Right.
Lamp was nowhere to be found, or whoever we had at right guard. Trey Turner was a big
Right.
joke. So it's like, but Heavy, we love you. We're a fan. on the
I
Charger
still
Chat
think I
podcast.
think, in my opinion, I think we're going to sign
My
Bud
hope-
Heavy.
yeah,
I
oh,
think
God,
there's
I
something to
would
be
love it.
said
Put him
for
at
being
guard.
able to start every single game. There's something to be said about not being injured.
He's not hurt,
You know what I
and
mean?
he's versatile. Yeah, okay. The stats don't help him with playing guard, playing center, but he can do it.
But he can
Maybe
do
he's
it.
gotten- yeah, so he has some versatility.
He's used to driving automatic. He can drive a manual. You might get the stick stuck a little bit. The
Yeah.
transmission might make some funny noises, but he can do it. He can get on the road.
Dude, it's Bud Heavy.
It's butt heavy. He's
and
signing.
mullets.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely still want him back. I mean, you're only as good as the guys you're surrounded with, and I think the guys
Exactly.
surrounding Feeney just
We're not helping.
weren't doing him any favors.
There will, if he plays, say they shift him over to right guard, he's being surrounded by a different breed of.
He's
of
surrounded
talent
by
there.
Packers.
And
He's got
Packer
Balog on one
sandwich.
side, Linsley on the other.
Yeah.
He's a Packer sandwich right there.
He's the filling.
The
He's
if
the
you
Bud
will.
cheesy
Heavy
filling.
Packer
Hot-
sandwich.
Hot
Cheese,
meat,
butter,
dude. It's like a
heavy
beer
filling.
brat. It's a beer brat.
It's like
Yeah,
a beer
cheesy
cheese
beer
soup.
brat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
beer cheese soup. That's our title for
yeah,
this
it's making me
episode.
hungry.
beer
Knock it out.
cheese soup.
All right.
All right, so that was one big major signing that we had. That was
One.
next signing. This isn't necessarily in chronological order, but next guy that we picked up in free agency, former Steelers offensive lineman Matt Feiler, reached an agreement on a 3-year, $21 million deal with the Los Angeles Chargers. Thank you, Jeebus. Holy cow. Just so glad to see OL in front of these names. Like,
I do want to point out that Thuney is who everyone wanted from the Pats.
Initially, yes.
He signed a deal with the Chiefs that's $13.5 million a year.
Unbelievable.
We got someone arguably as good, if not better, now that he's a Charger, for half that price.
Yeah.
We're paying him $7 million a year as opposed to the $13.5 million that the Chiefs are paying their guys.
And while we're on this, can we just address the fact that the Chiefs just went to the Super Bowl and lost because they didn't have tackles? They just got rid of their 2 tackles and brought in the most expensive guard in football.
There you go.
Does this make any sense to you guys?
Keep doing it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Just play no tackles. Just center guard. Bring in more receivers.
Center guard.
8-man football. Let's go. Come on, Chiefs.
I don't understand that. Like the fact that they cut both there. This isn't a Chief podcast, but like I like to look at our enemy, and our enemy definitely cut their 2 tackles.
We got stronger, and we'll have to wait and see what the Chiefs
There's
do.
still plenty of offseason to happen. Today is only the first day of free agency, but so far we're coming up with some great players, and they're playing for the right amount of money that we want them to play for.
You could buy a country with how much they pay Patrick Mahomes and their starting right guard.
Well, and the crazy thing about Feiler, guilty as charged, our boys over there, I love you guys. We're going to steal one of your tweets, but they said sorting free agent guards, minimum 50% snaps by fewest pressures allowed. Number 1, our new guy, Matt Feiler.
Yeah,
Number 2, at 16. Number 2, the $80 million man, Joe Thuney at 17. So if you go, hey, I love looking for stats that really reinforce what I appreciate and what I need for my team. So this is something that reinforces Feiler is better than Thuney.
Yep.
According to that stat.
Well, the other thing I took away from that tweet, number 7 was Forrest Lamp. Like,
yeah,
nobody's really been singing his praises. So for him to be,
he had twice as many as Feiler.
That's about a 22 pressure drop.
Still,
it's 38 for Lamp.
So we got 2 of the top 10 guards now that allow the fewest pressures. So
is that question? Do you keep Lamp? Do you shift him over and put it? Oh, I don't know.
It all depends on price tag. What do these guys want to get paid? If you could keep Feeney and Lamp if one of them's cool with being paid as a backup, but they're not gonna.
Lamp's gonna be fine. He has that new line of lamps at the lamp store. Yeah, he's got the new line of lamps at the lamp store. I'm sure he's gonna be raking it.
As long as Lamp doesn't pull up this tweet.
Nobody tell Forrest's agent about this guilty as charged tweet.
Yeah, nobody tell Forrest Lamp's agent about how many pressures he had.
Actually, guilty as charged, guys. If somebody listens to that, can you tweet them and let them know to remove this because this might not help us in signing our guys.
Unless you don't
take it
Lamp,
down.
Yeah.
But thank you for letting us steal that. We didn't ask permission, but we stole it. So
we're quoting it. We're retweeting it live on the air.
Quote, unquote. But like to go a little bit more on the Feiler, like it's interesting because, you know, he's so versatile. Like he played tackle for couple years with the Steelers, and then last year he played left guard. So I think just the versatility is huge.
We need it, obviously,
and exactly what Tom Telesco wants, because hopefully this changes. But most of the time, our offensive line is pretty hurt. So having people that can do multiple things, i.e., Feeney, i.e., Feiler and Feeney, that would look really good next to each other on the line. It kind of rings.
So, Linsley, right in the middle of a Feiler and a Feeney. There's so many sandwiches on this line. I love it. It's a buffet of linemen.
Is there a player named Buffet out there? Because we should get Adam just for that joke.
And then the other big news that we saw for the Chargers, we were all kind of hoping that we would bring this guy back, and sweet sassy Molassy, we did. Mike Davis coming back, baby. Coming back.
Thank God. And somebody, Josh Tolentino from JCT Sports said that Mike Davis had more lucrative offers from multiple teams, but per league sources. But big factor in re-signing with Chargers was opportunity to stay home and to build culture in LA with Brandon Staley.
Let's go.
Thank goodness.
Mike Davis.
I'm all on Davis. Like just to hear that and hear that he turned down some extra money because he liked where he's at. It's just, I like that a lot.
Yeah, I love it. I'm excited to see. I think he's only getting better too. I think he's gotten better every year. He hasn't taken steps off. I'm not saying he's a Pro Bowler, all pro, but he's gotten better every year. And I'm excited to see what he does under under our new coach, under Staley and
tutelage.
His
You're looking for tutelage.
Tutelage. I was about to throw out there. I was like, that sounds weird. I'm not gonna do it. So I went a new coach.
I did it for you.
Yeah, thank you for the tutelage drop.
My
So
pleasure.
I'm excited to see him get even better. I think that was a big pickup for us.
100%. I mean, the guy's only 26 years old, and still has a lot of tread left on those tires.
Imagine if we would have let him walk, we would need to get 2 starting cornerbacks.
Golly.
Holy shit balls. So thank God this happened. It's just like takes a little bit of the stress
100%.
off.
No, it's absolutely great to have him. It's a 3-year deal. We know that $15 million guaranteed. I don't know if they've come out with the actual full number of his contract yet. It's still too early. This is still all this stuff has been happening today. There's been players flying around left and right. We knew this offseason, this free agency was going to get crazy, and so far it has not disappointed. So we'll see what other crazy things happen this week. But so far, 3 players coming to the Chargers. One of them staying.
Utah.
2 coming, 1
staying.
You know what I'm saying. You don't see him coming or going.
Yeah. I feel you.
All right. Well, now it's time to move on over to the coach's corner. And it means we got to dip into our Boltfam just a tad bit early. This week, Coach decided to pick the question of OkiDoggie, who had a question and a request. I'll do my best. Here we go.
I'm the ghost with the most, baby. With the release of Casey Hayward and the unknown future of how the cornerback room will look, is there a possibility that the team may try to convert Nasir Adderley into a corner, be it in the slot or outside? Would like to hear from the coach on whether Adderley can make the transition or if he would be best suited to still be a safety in the system. And it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it. Now, what do you think? You think he's a cornerback?
Beetlejuice.
Holy
Beetlejuice.
shit. Oh, I love that dude. That in that movie, my favorite part is when he kicks over the tree and he goes, "Nice fucking model." Every time I laugh at that. That was a good one. Well done.
That was good.
All right. What do you think?
Yeah. So hopping into it, it's a hot topic. I mean, that would solve a lot of issues if we could make it that easy. You take a guy that was a subpar safety and turn him into a Pro Bowl corner. That'd be sweet. Good luck, Staley. So there's a couple of things that go into this. I do like the thought, right? And the idea of he has the range, he's long, he's a playmaker. He had a couple of interceptions. Here's what I looked at Delaware, where we drafted him from at the FCS level. So that's not BCS. He's not playing big Division I schools. He's at the FCS level. He came in as a corner. That's what he played there his first 2 years. Out of high school, they recruited him as a corner, and he wasn't getting any playing time. And so he went to coach, and he said, "Hey, can I get some looks at safety?" To me, that doesn't scream you're an NFL corner, right? Like, if you're not getting reps in the FCS at corner and you're begging to play in other positions so you can get playing time, that's awesome character. Like, the guy wants to play, but it doesn't scream he has the tools necessary to play at that corner position. I think one of the best attributes of Nasir Adderley is his instincts and his range. And you don't really get to take advantage of those things out at the corner position. Those guys are tacticians. Like, their technique, they are, I have this guy, I know exactly what my responsibility is. And it's very high level type of, I need to execute right here. Whereas at the safety, you have more freedom. You can go make plays. You can take chances. You're reading quarterbacks' eyes a lot. You're anticipating different things happening. You have to get in the box. We haven't seen him do it, so I can't definitively say no, he won't be able to make that transition. But he's been kind of subpar at safety. So I understand like the idea of wanting, hey, let's take advantage of this guy. Let's see if he can do something else. I personally just don't see that being a fit. If a guy can't play corner at the FCS level, I don't see him being able to pick it up in the NFL. What do you guys think?
Well, my question to you, based on the way you described that, again, to those who don't know, or if this is your first podcast, I didn't play football. I'm just a homer for the Chargers, and I enjoy watching them play, and I love these guys. I love this team. So to me, I understand at least a bit, what a safety's position is and what a cornerback's position is. The way that you described it there, as far as a safety having to do a lot of things at once in order to be good in that position, does moving him to a cornerback position kind of at least eliminate some of those responsibilities and say, okay, you're not going to be spinning all these plates. You're just going to be spinning one plate, and it's this guy.
Right.
So stay on this guy. Does that, do you think, give him a better opportunity to be in that position, or is that still too tough of a position? Do you still need a specific set of skills to make that happen?
I think that to play, I don't know this. I'm going to throw this out there. You guys tell me if it makes sense. To play the corner, you have to be an expert at doing one thing.
Mm-hmm.
To be a safety, you have to be good at doing several things. So to play corner, you have to be really, really good in pass coverage. And that's that. Like, if you can't do that, you can't play corner. At safety, like it's like a Jaleel Adai. He's a thumper.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that skill set can translate to corner. He's going to set that physical tone, come up and hit. And he can do a little bit of pass coverage, so he can pass as a safety.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you're a jack. You're like a
jack of all trade, jack of all, master of none.
Right, exactly. That does a disservice to safeties, but that's kind of how I see the difference between corner and safety. Corner is more specialized, whereas a safety needs to be able to do a lot of different things. And you're a little bit more. I don't know if it's the right way to say it, but you're a little more instinctual. You see something and you act on it, as opposed to a corner is a lot more of a tactician of you're out there on an island a little bit more one-on-one. You're a pass first guy. I don't know if that's a good explanation of it. But I don't see Nasir being able to make that transition to be able to play corner. It's a very different position.
And hopefully he steps up his game, because he did not play very well last year.
Right now he's our only free safety.
Yeah,
he's the guy right now. We just got rid of Rayshawn, who is, in my mind, a Rayshawn Derwin safety combo is a beautiful thing.
Right.
So with him gone, now Nasir's the guy.
Right. And we didn't get John Johnson like we were all hoping to get. So
right.
So now, I think we should start looking at the safety pool and see who all is floating around in there. But great. That's good information to know. Thank you, Coach, for breaking it down for us. We'll see what happens with Nasir. We know that Coach Staley is a wunderkind and likes to shape and get the best out of the players. So he might see something in Nasir Adderley that might bring out the best of him. And time will tell, and we'll find out what happens next season. But now we move on over to an interview. Kevin's got a great one lined up this week. Looks like it's with a brother podcast. Let's see who it is.
All right, guys, we got a special one today. We got John Kegley from the Locked On Chargers podcast. Thank you so much for coming on, John.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's always an honor to be on other people's shows.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. So, all right, cool. So let's just get into it. So, Locked On Chargers podcast. Tell us a little bit about your pod, how long you guys been around, all that stuff.
Well, we've been doing Locked On for about 4 years. It existed before us. I think some like NBC guys and stuff like that used to be on it, and then we got the offer to do it after some guy like lost his job or something, and he didn't have time for the show no more. And he offered us the spot. We were doing Chargers Domination Live, which is like a live video chat that we did like once a week during the season, and then we do it during maybe one show during free agency, one show during the draft. And then I was about it. And someone saw us, gave us an offer. Now we've been doing it for like 4 years. It's basically just a daily podcast. It's so hard to do during the off season. You're like digging for something to talk about.
Yes, I feel you.
like right when the Super Bowl ends, it's like, okay, pray for us. We got lucky this year. It was Staley coming in, and then every week it was like, okay, new coach. Okay, another new coach. Okay, another new coach. And now it's free agency. This guy's cut. This guy's cut.
Yeah,
it's like we're getting lucky, but once it goes dry, it's like you're like itching and clawing, digging for fossils. Like, okay, what could we talk about?
Totally, I feel you. Well, what we usually like to ask people when they first come on is like, it's so interesting because we get so many different answers and there's so many different variations on this question. Is how did you become a Charger fan?
Well, it's kind of a depressing story. From 4 years old to 16 years old, I was basically beat up, bullied every day, no friends, nothing. Like it got to the point when I was 11, like I'd gotten A's and B's my whole life growing up until when I got 11. And eventually I was like, you know what? I just moved and now it's still happening. So I give up and I tried to do what they were doing because maybe I would fit in and they'd leave me alone. I went from A's and B's to falling to like, okay, I'm becoming a future criminal now. And then when I was 12, my stepdad, who had been trying to get me into football a lot, my mom too, and I'd always said, no, I hate it. I don't want to be a part of it. I want to play. I want to watch Scooby-Doo and play my video games, basically.
Yeah.
And he was like, how about this? You watch one game. If you don't like it, we'll leave you alone. I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. It was like some preseason game too. I think it was like Panthers, Cardinals preseason. And I watched it. I was like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. So I'm watching like games here and there. Then one day, opening day, 2004, Chargers, Texans. And I'm like, oh, San Diego has a team? That must be what that stadium over there is for. I never been in it. And then I watch it and I see LaDainian Tomlinson. I'm watching him. I'm loving him. I'm like, oh, this guy's pretty amazing. I want to be like this guy. And right then and there, I told my mom, I was like, dude, I want to be like him. And she's like, well, you can't be like him if you're out here causing trouble and getting bad grades. I'm like, okay, you got me. Okay. I got to turn this around.
Nice.
And so I started like watching him constantly. I wanted to keep watching him, and doing that, I started getting a love for the Chargers, because now it turned into, I'm just here to watch LT, to, okay, I want the Chargers to win.
Yeah.
And it, like every year, my love for them just kept growing and growing, to the point, like even after he left, I was still a diehard fan. I've done a lot of crazy stuff as a fan, I would say, like walking the parking lot from about, let's say, like 7:30 a.m. to about 12 p.m., like an hour before game time, just looking for a free ticket. And I got like 13 of them.
Die hard, man. Nice.
That whole moment changed my whole life. And ever since then, I've tried to be like him. I volunteered in the community. I was able to graduate high school. I started volunteering with like my high school after I graduated to help them with football. Now I have a podcast. Like, it changed everything. Before that, who knows where I would have been.
That's so awesome, man. It's so great to hear that organization and that player, LT. Everyone says LT has kind of been a gateway for a lot of people to be. There you go, got the tat too. If you guys can't see it, but he's got an awesome LT tat. So
I own 31 of his jerseys. I've got the tattoo with his signature that I got in person from him.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
All the LT 5K medals, LT coins. I believe I own, I think last I counted, 36 of his cards.
That's so awesome, man. Yeah, he's one of the greatest Chargers of all time. So that's so awesome that you know he's your guy, and they brought, and you're still here. You came in early 2000, you're still here. So that's amazing. So we were talking about a little bit before is like the bloodshed that's about to happen with free agency, and all these like really good veterans are becoming available. It's kind of nuts. So with free agency being like that, and the upcoming weeks, what are some things you're hoping to see us do to kind of solidify our team?
One thing and one thing only: build the offensive line. I don't care what else you have around you, build the offensive line. If you have to get Corey Linsley from the Packers, which is a really good signing, or get like a somewhat okay signing, like a Nick Martin from Houston, whatever it is, just build the offensive line and some of the defensive line, and everything else will fall into place. If you got a good defensive line, a mediocre corner is going to get interceptions because the quarterback can't throw an accurate pass. If you got a great offensive line, a mediocre running back will find a hole to run through and still get you 4 to 5 yards. Like, build the trenches. That's all you need to do. You got to start Herbert now. You got to protect him. Give him the offensive line he needs.
Yeah, you stand on the shoulders of those guys. It's a good point. If you got a strong O-line or D-line, the guys behind you benefit. And if you're not the elite talent, you might rise with a really awesome offensive and defensive line play. So I totally agree. It's a huge need for us. And what do you see in terms of like the draft? Because we're going to find out pretty quick what we're going to need in the draft after the bloodshed that's about to happen with free agency. So what are you kind of hoping? What are you seeing? Is it more offensive line, or is there a few players that you really see as a target?
Well, it's definitely going to be offensive line. It's really going to be who's going to be available for the Chargers. Like, is Rashawn Slater going to fall? Are you going to go with a Samuel Cosme, who's a hit or miss type of guy? There's also Darius Alvey. There's a lot of guys in that top 15 area that are offensive linemen, but who's going to be there? Who might fall? If Rashawn Slater falls to you, you take that. That's a guy who went up against like Chase Young and Nick Bosa and held his own very well. You want that on your team. That's NFL ready guys that he was already holding up against. So he's already ahead of the curve, but he's probably going to be a top 10 pick as well. So it's really tough to say, but I really want more offensive line. It's really going to come down to who's there. If the offensive line, that guy that you think is going to really, really help you, is there, like even like a Creed Humphrey in the second round. If you can get him, that's, you go for it. But if he's not there, then you got to feel like if Michael Davis doesn't get re-signed, if you cut Casey Hayward to save more cap space, you got to draft a corner at some point as well. If the offensive lineman you want is not there, you got to go for a corner. You got to go for more D-line. But I really hope they start with the offensive line.
Yeah, for sure. That's such a huge part. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens because there's so many variables. Not having Hunter Henry, probably not signing him, needing to bring in somebody. People are looking at Pitts. Like, there's just like everyone, it seems to be like, we need an offensive lineman. But what if in that crazy ass world, something nuts happens and we land a more, a skill player or a tight end like Pitts or something like that? Like, are we going to really freak out and lose our minds? Or like, what would you do?
I'd be upset if you didn't have the offensive lineman you wanted and you settled for Pitts. I'd be highly upset. I would say trade back and get like Vera Tucker or someone, like move back, get more draft picks and still get an offensive lineman. Like, don't settle for a position player that you don't need. Like, you can get a decent guy. Like, you can get a Gerald Everett as a tight end. You don't need Pitts. Gerald Everett will be a decent tight end. Staley loves these like connections, basically. Like, if he's worked with you in the past, he wants you because he could work with you. Gerald Everett's that guy. Why not bring him in or try for a Jared Cook? He's starting to go down towards the end of his career. He might be a cheaper guy, but you don't draft a tight end when you need offensive line.
Yeah.
If you just trade back. I'm really hoping that if they don't have the guy they want, they trade back and still get Elijah Vera Tucker maybe. Yeah. And have an extra draft pick in the second or third round.
No, absolutely, man. I think we're on the same page. It's going to be exciting. We're going to find out pretty quick what's going to happen, who we're going to have on our team, who we're not going to have on our team. So it'll be great. So, John, thank you so much for coming on, man. It was great to bring the podcast together, if you will, and let our guys, our audience know where they can hear you and where they can check you guys out.
Well, thanks for having me on. It's the Brotherhood of Chargers. It's kind of amazing. All the Charger podcasts are actually like brotherhoods and not like rivaling each other. Like, no, we're better. No, don't listen to them. Listen to us.
Yeah, dude. Like, let's get them all together. It's way more fun that way.
It is. It's a lot more fun. And we're all doing the same purpose. We're trying to educate the fans, basically, get all the info out there so that we don't look like the Raiders fan base of non-educated fans that just out here to rep colors. But you can find us on Facebook. Just type in Locked On Chargers. And for Twitter, it could be at Locked On LAC. It's really easy. You can also find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you go. It's pretty simple to find. Just Google it and you'll find it.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for your time. And I'm sure we'll talk to you later.
Yes, thank you.
It was awesome having Locked On Chargers. So now we got the trifecta so far. There's some more out there. We're gonna bring them all in. It seems like every day there's a new pod. So we're gonna bring them all in. You'll hear from all of them here.
I think that's great. I think that's awesome, bringing us all together. Like, everybody brings something different to the table, and we're all a fan of the same central team. So it's great. I think that's awesome. Great. Thanks for coming on, John, and thanks for sharing that story about becoming a Charger fan. Like, it was sad, but it came out with a happy ending. Like, we're all very happy to have you here, man.
Yeah, thank you. That was awesome.
All right. Well, now we will get out of an interview and just dive right into a fan focus. I think you might recognize his name, folks. Let's see who it is.
All right, guys, we're back with another fan focus, a very exciting one this time. We have the one and only OkiDoggie. What is up, OkiDoggie?
I'm doing pretty well. How about you?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to come chat with us. So, let's kick it off how we always do. How did you become a Charger fan?
Probably mid 2000s. I was more of a basketball fan, and then in terms of football, I was watching more college football. Like, the three teams that I mostly watched were the Chargers for LT, obviously, best running back ever. Green Bay, and then the Colts, because of their quarterback. But then, watching the draft, when Aaron Rodgers went to that draft, I was like, okay, well, might as well pick an NFL team. Okay, I'll just pick the Chargers because navy blue coming from Berkeley made the most sense at that time.
It all lined up, and now you're, 10, 15 years later, you're still a Charger fan, huh?
No, yeah. I came for LT, but then I stayed for all the rest of the Chargers that were there at that time. I mean, in some sense, we were kind of spoiled kids in some sort of way. Like, we had LT, I barely saw Breeze, Phillip Rivers, both of them obviously retired now, which is kind of bittersweet, but we have our franchise quarterback now. Michael Turner, Darren Sproles, Antonio Cromartie, Quentin Jammer, Sean Merriman, Sean Phillips, Vincent Jackson. I mean, Antonio Gates. Oh my God.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. Well, this is a perfect segue because, all those great players, there's a lot of new great players available in free agency this year. So, who would you like to see? And it's happening as we speak. We're doing this afternoon on Monday. Who would you like to see the Chargers pick up or re-sign in free agency?
Okay, in terms of re-signing, I would like to see Michael Davis back on the offense. I mean, I know everyone's probably more Hunter Henry, but I at least want to keep some offensive linemen that we've had, like maybe Feeney, Lamb on like a short-term deal, just so we can have depth. And then if we had to go after someone, well, on the defense, I mean, John Johnson, so we can have like a veteran safety that's familiar with the system. And then on offense, earlier on, I was on Joe Thuney, but now I'm like, okay, does he really fit the system that we're going to be running? So like, I'd rather take the center from Green Bay. I mean, at least Linsley. We have a proven center at that point. And I think that's what Telesco prefers, a veteran center over like a rookie.
Well, and it's an incredibly valuable position, having a, younger quarterback, having him make all of the protection calls when you could bring in a stud like Linsley and have him help with that and let, I think it might help the offense a little bit. So I think that's a really good angle. And so we'll see what happens. This day is getting crazy. Jonnu Smith just went to the Patriots, and
thank God.
I did not want Hunter Henry going there. So thank God.
I mean, I want him back, but if I had to pick somewhere where Hunter Henry would go, probably Buffalo. I know they needed tight end, preferable. Maybe Bengals, but I mean, I think the Bills make the most sense.
All right, well, let's. My last question for you is, there's a lot of change this offseason. There's a lot of new things. So, and the big one that we're kind of not thinking about right now is the assistant coaches. So, in terms of like, our new, Lombardi, Swinton, some of these other guys, who are you most looking forward to as a coach, for the upcoming season?
In terms of the coordinators, I would say excited about probably Darius Swinton, because right now the team's rock bottom when it comes to special teams, so he has a lot going for him.
Yeah.
And then the most intrigue, probably Joe Lombardi, just because obviously everyone talks about his failures at Detroit. And there's always like this debate, like, because the Lions have been horrible all these years. But the Lions at that point, obviously they had Stafford, they had Megatron, they had Golden Tate. I thought they had Reggie Bush, but apparently Reggie Bush was injury prone those years. So I was like, okay, well, they didn't really have a good running game. So that's why running game hasn't been, that great for them. At the same time, maybe coaches at least deserve a second chance. Like, look at Brian Dable. Like, he was a horrible offensive coordinator all these years. And then he goes to Alabama, wins the national championship, goes to the NFL again for a second chance. And what do you know? He's a hot, coaching candidate for next year. So it's like, okay. But at the time, I was like on the fence. Like, I was like, oh, we'll see what happens. But then, like, hearing, like, okay, well, they didn't have this good running game in Detroit. Like, I know it was kind of like he wanted to bring the same system over. But at the same time, it's like, well, you have to fit it around the quarterback. And Matthew Stafford, he has a big arm. So he's not really going to be like the Drew Brees of the world. So I was like, okay, well, maybe he learned from it. And going back to the Saints after that, like, yeah, he probably learned from his mistakes, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. So, all right, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's going to be an exciting week or two of see what's going to happen with our team and how the roster is going to shape up. So thank you so much for coming on, OkiDoggie, and keep keep those Reddits coming because we love your questions, man.
No problem.
All right, man. Take it easy. OkiDoggie.
OkiDoggie. Yeah, we love those questions so much. We let Coach dissect them. So
thanks for coming on. OkiDoggie episode.
OkiDoggie all over the place.
Hot takes. Yeah, we had OkiDoggie's interview lined up, and then Kyle picked his question. So, double down.
The luck of the doggy. I think it's an interesting point too that he brings up, that I think we kind of don't take a step back and look at some of these situations as far as like players having bad years or digressing, like the chance of them to maybe come back and have a great year, have a great season. Like everybody, I won't say everybody, but a lot of people I think go towards on that negative side of like, they suck last year, they're going to still be shitty. Yeah, don't want it. So I think, him talking about the coaching staff, like these guys might actually still be pretty good. They might, bring something new to the table that, just it didn't click over there. It's going to click over here. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Shamelessly positive. Stay shamelessly positive, guys.
That's the core of what we believe.
100%.
No one has a clue. We were all stoked about last year's offensive line.
That's right.
We were hyped going into the season.
Hype.
Oh shit!
Turned into hot dog shit.
But you know what? It's just it's just more fun to to be excited about stuff and to look forward to it.
We don't know what's going to happen. It's more fun to be excited about.
I don't want to be the podcast that, puts the hands in the pocket, looks in the dirt and says, we're going to suck next year. I don't care. I want to be a Charger fan.
So let's go.
All right. Thank you, OkiDoggie. And now we move on to the Craig experience.
We got something special, folks. Craig put in work, and now it's paying off.
We are up in our game over here at the Charger Chat. Here we go.
This is the Craig
Experience.
What's going on with my brothers in Bolt Hood? And hello, hola, to the rest of the Chargers fam. Welcome to this edition of the Craig Experience. Come on in, man. Kick your feet up. Do dust those bad boys off at the front door, though, as I am a bit OCD. Make yourself at home. Got some stuff to talk about, right? I know a lot of you guys were caught off guard by the Casey Hayward release. But honestly, if we talk through it, think about it a bit, made perfect sense. I, for one, wasn't super shocked, as he seemed like the next logical cut after Trey Turner. And let's really never speak that name again. Ready? Okay? We good with that? Cool. Moving on. If we're going to talk about why this was done, we first have to remove ourselves from the emotional side of it. And you have to pay attention, man. We've got a new coaching staff, which means a new direction. Casey has never been an uber athlete, which I know I've touched on the pod before, but just to reiterate, he's always been more of an elite technician, and injuries and age further exposed his lack of athleticism. His tackling actually fell off a cliff last year, and none of these things translate into what you need in a Brandon Staley defense, specifically in the secondary. I mean, we're talking about teams were targeting Casey down the field regularly and with success. I still have nightmares about Tyreek Hill burning him almost every time there was a one-on-one. And then you start throwing in some other guys who didn't have Tyreek Hill type speed, just going over the top of Casey, and it wasn't pretty. Yeah. So if you think about it, that $9 million cap hit for an aging guy on the wrong side of 30 with declining athleticism, which never really was his forte in the first place, doesn't really make sense. So if the team's looking to make a move in free agency to possibly have someone come in and fill that spot, here are a couple ideas for you. For me, option 1A would be William Jackson III from the Bengals. Talking about a young, super athletic guy with shutdown potential, and he's proven it before. If you don't want to go that route, maybe it's a little too pricey. How about we take a 1 to 2 year flyer on a cat like Patrick Peterson? Now, I know what you're saying. He's not what he was, but still, he's an above average guy who can serve as a bridge to the next cornerback drafted here. Asante Samuel Jr., second round. Yeah, so Pat Pete seems like an awesome idea to me, and he still has some athletic ability. He hasn't completely tanked it yet, so something to think about. Anyway, guys, let me know how you feel about what's available in free agency, what route you go, and I'm sure you're going to have some varying opinions there because, of course, everything can't be solved in just free agency. It's got to be a combination of that in the draft, right? To the rest of the Bolt fam, thanks for coming over and hanging out. It's been fun. You're welcome anytime. Okay. Love you. Bye.
This is the Craig Experience.
Craig is
You're welcome.
Too smooth for
That's
that
fucking
intro.
ridiculous.
For that
Well, maybe we'll
crazy
do another
intro.
one.
Craig is like, man, you were 10 times as cool, Craig.
10 times cool.
I feel so welcome whenever I listen to the Craig Experience. So thank you for giving us some different perspective. Hopefully talking some of the folks off the ledge that were willing to rip their jerseys after hearing that Casey Hayward was cut from the team. I think those are all great points. What do you think, Kyle? I think, you're more of that coach eye. Is that something that you saw? I know you already mentioned there isn't really much tape to go back and look at, but did you see, Hayward getting burned this last year pretty frequently?
Yeah, I think we all kind of saw it, but like I said earlier, I kind of
didn't want to
blamed
believe
it on
it, man.
Yeah, we are shamelessly positive, and I blamed it on injury.
Right.
I thought he had a nagging hamstring thing all year, and kind of blamed it on that. But Yeah, it's like I said earlier, like I'm bummed because of the man that I think that Casey Hayward was and
100%.
who he was in the locker room and leader he was. And you can't replace that. Speaking as a football coach, the best teams I've ever coached had a core leadership to it. Like there were a couple of guys on that team that were leaders, and they could get out of guys what they didn't have. If you just put a bunch of athletes in a room that are selfish and only want what they need, then you're not going to win anyways. You can have the most athletic team in the world. So that's for me why I was a little bit bummed to see him go. But I guess I do understand if we're moving in a new direction, if he's not a scheme fit for what we're trying to do. There's a couple of guys out there, and this is all dependent on money that's being asked. Kind of like Craig said with his take on the cornerback from the Bengals. But to me, a Shaquille Griffin type of guy would be awesome to have. There's a lot of good cornerbacks out there that you could bring in and can contribute. I feel like there's always a no name every year that steps up in the cornerback position and just blows people away. Like, where did he come from? Almost like a McCourty from New England a couple of years ago that kind of just busted onto the scene. Or I think that there's some guys out there that maybe aren't even on our radar that might be brought in for depth. And yeah, in the draft, I do believe that the cornerback will be addressed in the draft.
Right.
If it's early enough to be a day one starter, I don't know. But I do think that is a position to me that the positions that still direly need to be addressed are safety, corner, line. Those are still and tight end if Hunter Henry is not coming back, which I in my heart of hearts, I still think that Hunter Henry is coming back. They're just wanting to get a longer term deal that's more forgiving to this year's cap. What do you think, Kev?
Yeah, I think whatever it is, it's going to be a short stop. Like, I think it'll be a 1-2 year deal. I could see Patrick Peterson making sense. Like, the name that gets thrown around a lot, I don't know how he's going to feel coming back from his injury, but Richard Sherman, like, those are two guys in that same kind of conversation of guys that were great, maybe 3-4 years ago, where like they're in their prime, but could still have something. And are they a better option than Casey Hayward? I think that's what you have to look at when you're looking at some of these stopgap guys. Are they going to be able to perform better than Casey Hayward?
Yeah, and that's now that I kind of hear you and listen to that. I think, why would you move on from Casey Hayward to get another vet? Right? Why would you move on from Casey Hayward, who's established in the organization, it's a leader on the team, to get a Patrick Peterson or a Richard Sherman? I feel like the idea has to be to go young.
I think they will. I think they're going to draft, but I think they're going to have to get somebody in there now. We definitely don't have the starter over there.
Yeah, but it's not going to be a Casey Hayward pay like that. That's the whole reason, was to free up cap space. So
I think it's the quality of that, but I think it's also how much money they're going to ask for. I think that'll be the question too.
Well, I guarantee you Patrick Peterson's going to make more than Casey Hayward was scheduled to make.
Well, Casey Hayward was scheduled to make $11 million. And I think the question becomes, is there somebody that fits our scheme better? We want to say that Casey lost a step last year to injury, but it might just be that's just the type of player that he is. He's not the speedster that is able to keep up with some of these wide receivers. So is there somebody else that is available that has the abilities that we're looking for as far as like speed, tackling, things of that nature? Like you said, Kyle, when you were comparing the idea of bringing Adderley over to corner, are there guys out there that have the set of skills that need to play cornerback that aren't necessarily asking for the same amount of money that can still act as a bridge between Casey Hayward and should we draft some other young cornerback out there?
The more we talk about it, the less excited I am about it. I don't know.
That's not meant for... I'm just saying.
Honestly, like the more we talk about the cutting of Casey Hayward, the more confused I get on the situation of what are we going to do at corner? The more it's like, okay, you got rid of a guy. Yeah, we were paying him a decent amount, but not like outrageous. So like, you're not going to bring in another veteran that's going to require just as much money. So in my mind, it's like you have to draft first 2 rounds for your starting corner. And then you bring in a kind of a guy that's on a roster that can facilitate as a backup.
Well, let me ask this. We still have Chris Harris, right?
Right.
Is he not a veteran of that position?
It's potential. We could bump him out for that gap guy to be that in-between guy for whoever we draft. But if you do that, then you still need a nickel guy, which maybe I guess you move Nasir Adderley to try to play nickel.
We'll see.
I don't like talking. It's getting more confusing.
We'll see. It's hard for especially for Tom Telesco, who is
good luck, Tom Telesco,
who is as tight-lipped as he is.
Praying for you.
We're
daily.
all praying for you daily. That's the thing, is like, we don't know what the plan is, but knowing who is running the ship, knowing who is at the helm, there has to be a plan. There's
a grand plan.
Yeah.
There's something big going on.
Just because we don't know, we play the game of, well, could it be this or could it be that? And some of us get surprised. Like we found out today that Michael Davis is coming back. So that's stuff that we wanted.
But Casey Hayward is not.
Casey Hayward is not, which
didn't see that.
A lot of people didn't. But as Greg said, he wasn't too surprised by it. So we'll find out as offseason continues. Today is just day one, which got focus on the offensive line. Thank you.
Thank heaven.
Yeah, thank you,
Sensei Tommy T.
Yeah, go work, Tommy T. Do you guys want the more you know fact? Would you like something to let you kind of maybe possibly go down a rabbit hole and be like,
Yeah.
Yeah. One of those?
Sure.
So they released something where, there's some of these players don't have agent. And by not having an agent this year, they have allowed the teams to reach out to the player. So there's one person on this list that doesn't have an agent that represents himself.
It's Richard Sherman.
And he was also on a podcast with our coach. So I don't know, maybe, we'll see. I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting, the more you know fact.
And in my opinion, if you sign Richard Sherman, there was no point in cutting Casey Hayward.
They backed themselves into a corner where they better have this grand ass plan for what they're going to do at cornerback. Otherwise, it looks just confusing.
Richard Sherman, his whole career, he's been questioned for his athleticism. Everyone said, hey, because he started with Gus Bradley. And everyone said, you're good because you play cover 3 and you don't have to do a whole lot. And then he was like, whatever, I'll go to the Niners. And he played okay. And that was 4 years ago. And now he's a free agent. Like, I don't understand.
33.
Casey Hayward for Richard Sherman.
That wouldn't make much sense.
In my opinion, it's like, why would you not just keep Casey Hayward?
I think this is kind of a lose-lose situation for the Chargers right now.
The more I think about it, the more I'm like, man, this is rough. Like, I think it's going to be a rookie. I think we're going to draft a corner in the first 2 rounds to fill that spot and play with Mike Davis. Or they have someone in their back pocket that was a backup guy on the Rams. It's like, this guy's a stud. Bring him in.
Yeah.
We're not going to have to pay him.
Yeah.
There's somebody they have in the back of their mind that is not even on our radar.
Yeah. I'm all for being blindsided and finding out that there was somebody waiting around the corner because, again, we don't know what's going to happen. I'd rather be pleasantly surprised at like, oh, that was the plan. We're all just sitting here anxiously waiting because we don't have anything else to do but talk to each other. So let's just wait to find out what the plan is actually going to be, because I guarantee that there has to be one. It's not going to be like start of the football season and, oh shit, we forgot to get a cornerback in here. Like, there has to be a plan.
So far, so good. I like what they've done today, March 15th, between 5
2021,
p.m.
the year of our Lord.
Between like 3 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. I liked what they did. So off to a good start, Staley.
Off to a good start.
Tommy the Ninja Telesco.
Thank you, Craig, for invoking some deep feelings for the coach. He's now he's in a corner. Oh,
I think
God.
he's
Now
in
he's
a spiral.
crying.
He's in a shame
got snot
spiral
coming out of his nose. Oh,
yeah,
God.
he's breathing heavy. Look at him, dude. Pull
take
yourself
your
together.
thumb out of your
coach.
mouth. Take your thumb out of. All right, we'll just
pull
go
yourself
on to
together.
You were totally
just
not
happened?
paying attention.
Leave all of this shit in. 100% leave this in, please.
Oh my God! All right. Now we
checking my phone for free agency updates. Relax, boys. Fitzmagic's going to the Washington
when you
team.
listen back to this episode, you're gonna love it. All right,
The shame spiral.
Time to go now to Ask Boltfam, and we started off with a family member.
Ooh.
Another wool dog. Oh my goodness. My cousin, Mark Woolley,
shit.
starting off, Ask Bolt Fam. Who knew that I had a cousin that was part of the Bolt Fam? Welcome, Mark. Thanks for joining us on Charger Chat. You've got a question. I'm going to give you a silly voice, so deal with it. Goes something like this.
So, with the recent moves, which might I say I'm pumped for, do you think we'll be taking an offensive playmaker or one of the corners certain as Samuel? Can't love you, bye.
Here we go.
You got to look at it. We're now getting into the conversation where like everyone and their mom is like first round tackle, first round tackle, first round tackle. And now all of a sudden you have this glaring need at cornerback. It's like first round corner. I don't know. I just don't want to tackle, but it kind of, I could see it happening more. It's more realistic now.
I know. We still have that opening at tackle that needs to be filled.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, left tackle still needs
to be filled. Which, if Slater is there or any of the big names that we've talked about already, like I think you got to pull the trigger on that because again, you're investing in that future with Justin Herbert, who's got the cheap contract, and a defense is obviously a high priority as well. But if I think there might still be some talent in that position going into the second, as we've been talking about, I think Samuel and Certain. So
we'll see, dude. It's going to make the draft so much more interesting. If this is where we are right now, we're walking in needing a tackle and we're needing a cornerback. We're basically just going to be able to sit there and pick the best available. It makes it easier to pick the best available.
And we need an outside linebacker / pass rusher. We have the three guys that you take in the three of the biggest positions.
But we have we have a Nwosu. We have that. That is not as what I'm saying is tackle, left tackle, and cornerback are the biggest needs right now on our team because there's no one that has the potential to be a really good starter right now. This just doesn't exist on our team. So I think you're looking at the first round.
Right.
It's going to become best available tackle or cornerback. I think that's where we are right now at this moment.
Here's what I'm saying is we have two outside linebackers. We have two outside linebackers in our defense, and we only have one in a potential Nwosu.
Yeah,
Joey
but
Bosa's
potential
Nwosu
Nwosu is much better than a potential Tavon Campbell.
Okay. You have two corners. You have two outside linebackers. We have one corner. We have one outside linebacker. You need one of each. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
We also have a Swiss Army knife.
Don't check me.
Remember him?
You're a Swiss Army knife.
Calm the fuck down, Kyle. Calm the down.
You're the
shame spiral.
Calm down.
Rearing its ugly head again.
Okay, easy, everybody,
all right,
put the gun down. Put the gun down.
All right. But there are options in the first round.
There 100%
it is crazy to me, personally, in my opinion, how we signed two offensive linemen today, and all of a sudden I'm like, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, they addressed serious needs today. It happened all of a sudden.
Before today, there was just so many holes, like so many that it's like, you have to draft O-line.
Right.
You have to draft O-line. And now I'm like, we'll see what happens.
We still need more linemen. Don't get us twisted.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
But maybe that 13 pick, if the guy doesn't, if Rayshon's gone, if those guys aren't there, there is potential that a cornerback or outside backer type guy falls to.
And you got 4 picks in the top 100, dude. Look at it. Linsley, what was he, a 5th round pick? And he's now the highest paid center in the league.
Yep.
So just because they're everyone says they're going to be the best at the first or second round doesn't mean shit most of the time. Look at Keenan Allen, 3rd round pick. Look at some
Antonio
of these guys.
Gates.
We're bad in the 3rd round as of late, but now we got 2 shots. 2 shots is better than 1. Tommy T, Ninja, that shit.
All right. Well, thank you, Mark. Always good to hear from you.
Whoa, dog.
All right, now we move on to Anchovies 21, who asked the question.
Hold the pizza.
If Chargers decided to stay with Drew Brees and not go with Phillip Rivers, how many Super Bowls would each quarterback have? Brees playing for Chargers and Rivers playing for Giants.
I don't like this question.
That sucks.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm not.
Honestly, though, okay, thinking about it, I think Phillip Rivers is a much better quarterback than Eli Manning. So he would have as many Super Bowls as they currently have. Like, he would at least match what Eli Manning has done, if not get one more.
But if Brees played for the Chargers.
If Brees played for the Chargers, Phillip Rivers' first 3 years, I think we could have won at least one Super Bowl. I really do. I think the timing of that handoff was probably the least ideal. You had a lot of guys in their prime that were ready to go. That having a rookie quarterback, or a very fresh quarterback hindered our ability to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I think so. I think if Drew Brees stays, we win at least one. But if Phillip Rivers goes to the Giants, they win just as many as they already
Everybody's happy.
Yeah. I
Except
concur.
this is
Do you
the
con- Adam,
timeline
do you
that we
concur?
live in.
Do you concur?
I concur.
I concur.
I concur. I concur.
We're in accord.
We all are in accord. Honda Accord is where we're at. All right. Now we move on to Bobby Caldrone, who asked the question. Is anyone on this roster safe? Spock.
Justin Herbert.
Herbie for sure. No way.
That's it.
And
That's about
Herbert,
it.
Bosa, Allen.
But I think this question,
You guys.
Bosa's safe too. This
Eckler.
question came like right when Hayward was cut, and it was just like, am I in the Twilight Zone? It was like the intro to the show was perfect. It was like, am I in the fucking Twilight Zone right now? Like, what just happened? Like, I felt very on edge after that Hayward cut.
No one is safe. I do think it's Keenan, Bosa, Herbert. Other than that, like,
I think
if you
Eckler's
can
safe.
cut Hayward,
Ecclesticks is fine.
Eckler gets paid a lot. Who knows? I don't know. Like, yeah, he's good. No one's safe. No one's sitting at home like, yeah, I'm on my Twitch playing video games. Like, I might get traded.
It sounds like you're describing Austin Eckler sitting at home playing on Twitch.
I hope he's. I'm not saying I hope he gets traded.
No, I'm saying
just
like
no one-
I'm saying he's.
no
You
one's
say he's
safe.
comfortable sitting at home playing on Twitch because he knows he's not going anywhere. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
he's-
There you go.
Okay, add Eckler to the
Add
three.
it.
Okay,
Positive
those four safe.
spin on your negative shit.
But
shame
everybody
spiral.
else is up for grabs, apparently.
All right, pipe down, Richard. Sure.
Pipe down.
All right. Now we move on to Mike Nava, who asked the question. With the recent free agent O-lineman the Bolts acquired, should they still draft O-linemen? If you don't think so, what position do you guys think they should draft?
I think we talked about it. Definitely need to draft. Like the top 4 picks, I would not be mad if it was like 2 O-linemen, a cornerback, and an edge rusher. The top 100 picks, you could get 4 of those guys. That's what I think. Offensive line is still super priority.
Right.
You need to have depth.
We've been all over Pitts over and over and over. Like, what about him? Is he still an option in the first round, you think?
I'm
now with the Casey Hayward
We
move?
got to see what happens with Hunter. We got to figure out what the game plan is. If Hunter goes, I think Pitts is absolutely on the table, and a viable option. Again,
But I think-
he's got to fall to us though too. There are still other mock drafts of him going before 13.
But I think it's interesting though. If you're looking at our roster, like Parham's still there. Parham is still a serviceable tight end that did a lot of good stuff last year. If you go back and look at all the highlights from the Chargers, the passing stuff with Herbert, most of that went to Parham. I don't know if you want to go back and look at it again. I'm just saying.
I don't know
we're
if
looking
most
at.
of it
Hold on,
went, but a lot.
A lot of it. Go watch his most recent
good.
highlight.
He did
So what
good.
I'm saying
He
is
did
like
good.
in terms of need, right now, left tackle, cornerback, left tackle, cornerback, throwing some more interior offensive linemen, maybe a right tackle. And cornerback, like that's what it is for me. I having a tight end right now doesn't make the most. Drafting that high for a tight end doesn't make the most sense to me with what we need right now, and we're getting a better picture every single day because we're starting to see what we're picking up and what we're where on the roster looks weak, where like is like
Hunter,
oh,
just
shit.
sign, dude. Just stop messing around.
Just
stop,
do it.
Stop dicking around and sign the
Dude,
damn paper.
You went to his goddamn birthday party. Don't, as a party favor, say
Yeah.
You went to his goddamn birthday party.
it off.
That is a shitty gift to give him to leave him on his birthday. Okay, Hunter?
Yeah.
God damn it,
On
Hunter.
his birthday.
Hunter.
God, yeah, because I hear what you're saying, but if we don't sign Hunter, then whatever tight end we pick up is, oh man, yeah.
There might be
more of an average tight
Tommy
end.
T, we're praying for you.
Right now, Pitts is obviously the number 1 tight end and is up there so high, as Craig pointed out earlier in some of his Twitter posts on comparing other really good tight ends in the league and Pitts being drafted potentially as high as he is. So we gotta wait and see where these chips are falling. But
man, Gronk is like 85 years old and took a year off of football, and he's still getting
eats
11
Tide Pods
million
for
a year.
breakfast, and
Yeah,
he's
just
still getting
re-signed-
10 million.
So it's like they're not cheap. Those are not cheap pieces to bring in. It's like, and his Hunter's best year arguably was his first year with Justin Herbert. So Justin likes going to that tight end. I don't know. Just sign Hunter. Just sign.
We made this
do
cap
it.
space for you.
Yeah.
Mike Davis
Sleep in this
took
bed, damn it.
a team-friendly deal.
Be
Come
like
on.
Mike Davis, okay?
Yes.
Be like Mike Davis.
Be like
Be
Mike.
like Mike.
Be like Mike. All right. Let's move on now to Tweet Me Up Scotty, who asked the question.
If Hunter Henry walks, who do you think would be a long-term good replacement for Herbert? Free agency, draft, chicken parm. I'm giving a rush. He's good, Captain. I don't have the power.
Yeah. Continuation. I don't know.
Yeah, of this dramatic Bolt fan.
Nobody knows.
I
The tight
think
ends I see.
going back and looking at all the highlights from last year, because when I'm feeling kind of not the happiest, I'll just go throw on Herbert's highlights and watch them over and over again.
I do
super
it
fun.
Multiple times a week, unfortunately.
Yeah, I do for sure. And I'm not even kidding. There was the one highlight where it showed all like his main throws, like his best stuff, and a lot of that was to Parham. I'm not messing with you. Hunter Henry didn't show up.
You better not be messing.
I'm being super serial. I'm being super serial. I'm being super serial.
Guys.
Like Hunter Henry showed up on that highlight tape twice. Parham was on it like 10, 12 times. So I'm just
that's great. But how many first downs did Hunter Henry convert? Like he might not have had those gigantic catches, but the first downs that he converted and the dirty and the blocks that he
I think
executed,
Hunter is definitely a better blocker than Parham. He's just built better.
We have an agreement here that he is better than Parham. 100%.
Correct.
But I'm saying right now,
What's
I
your
feel
point,
okay with Parham if we're stuck with a starting tight end.
That's fine.
He's already on our roster.
You're allowed to feel okay.
Do you think we win a Super Bowl if Parham is our starting tight end?
I could see that.
I don't.
Moving on. Next, we've got Tyler Foffey, an old favorite, who asked the question.
Hey, guys. Been MIA for a bit. Do you think Tommy T will come out guns blazing in free agency? Or do you expect more of the ninja moves he's known for? K-love you, boy.
Disappears into the smoke.
With
Ultimate
the
ninja.
magic ball, the crystal ball we have, seeing in the future from when this question was asked. He's kind of ninja
So far.
blazing. He's kind of being a ninja with a lot of firepower.
Yeah.
A little bit.
None of
Just
the
a bit.
guys that, the two guys that we drafted were like favorites for the Chargers. Like,
Yeah. Like you see all these tweets
Linsley-
about, so-and-so is
Linsley was.
talking to so-and-so.
Yeah.
We're
Linsley
not
was on a lot of
connected to
people's
anyone.
like
he was
radar.
on the radar, but it wasn't like favorite.
That's because he was the best guy available at his position. Everyone, but it was no one that was like, oh, he's talking to the Chargers.
Dable, was as a favorite for the Chargers
Jesus.
more than Linsley was. So
That's true.
that's just how Tommy T plays. Like, we don't like it because we want to
Dagnabbit.
know the answers, but sometimes it works out in his favor, and he's able to make some good moves, get some contracts, get the best center in the league on the first year, only hitting 6.5 against our cap. That's pretty impressive.
Very ninja.
So I think it's great. So Tommy, keep doing what you do. We love you and we hate you at the same time. Thank you, Tyler, for asking the question. We move on now to Daniel Llewellyn, who asked the question.
Am I the only bloody Bolt fan who's ready to throw out all the old bangers and mash and pour a new pint of proper Guinness? There tain't a single bloody offensive lineman outside of Balaga I want back. Can we all just quit all the belly aching? Kiss me, I'm Irish.
That was good, dude.
You're not the only bloody Bolt fan that wants that. We all want a whole new offensive line.
Yeah, and then we're
It's piecing together.
the steps are happening.
We've talked about wanting Feeney back. We've talked about wanting Lamp back.
Butt heavy.
And Tevvy's probably going to ask for too much money, but if he were to come back, I wouldn't hate that either.
If those guys go, I'm not going to be heartbroken.
Right.
Like if they don't get signed back, I'm like, oh my God, we're dead.
We're dead in the water.
Good
We're
now.
We're not.
We're done.
We're not
Those
going to be able
guys
to.
are like-
We're not going to be able to win the Super Bowl now because
Yeah,
of time.
it's like they're solid guys, and I think they will come back as like affordable options. But I think all of we need at least 4 brand new offensive linemen. There might be one that we have on our roster that could spot in there.
So you're saying we're halfway there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Balaga, we got 2 new ones. We need
at least 2 more.
You need a guard and another left tackle. And
Left
you've
tackle.
got a brand new spanking fresh Guinness of an offensive
And the
line.
best part is then you have competition. Like you have and going into training camp, It's not like these are our guys. It's like, all right, let's go play. Let's go compete. Let's go prove that that's my spot.
Let's see who makes the team.
Right. That's what everyone wants. So, Daniel, you're not alone. You're not the only bloody Bolt fan that wants that.
Thank you, Daniel, for asking the
Thanks,
question.
Daniel.
And we move on to Chimney Crickets, who asked the question.
Something a little different to take us away from the Casey news. Imagine the pandemic is over and you're at SoFi for a home game of your choice. Describe your absolutely perfect game day, including the game.
Head, beer, no.
Hit! Move! Nay!
It's like an orange on a toothpick.
It's like Sputnik. I'm not kidding.
That was Shrek.
That was
though.
Shrek
That was
prior to Shrek.
It was so a Married an Axe Murderer.
Yeah.
Ideal setup. We
all three of
us are there.
Check.
We get into the new Thunder Alley, wherever that is. We go immediately find Karen. We give her a big hug. We take a bunch of shots with everyone that we see that we know, and then we hang out.
And then we black
eat
out
some
and totally miss the
and then we
game.
pass out, miss the game.
Stumble into the game.
There's
Get some hydration.
There's
Hydrate
three
a
men
little bit
out on
so
the
we're getting back
field.
to
They've
normal.
had to stop the game. They're going up to number 10. They're hugging him. For some reason, they can't. And oh, God, Herbert just punched one in the face. He's down. He's crying.
So I'm going to back
In
the
my
shots
opinion, we play the Chiefs.
Ooh, there you go.
And we win handily.
We shut them out.
That's my perfect game. Yeah.
But I'm thinking the game day at SoFi. Like, I want to go and see like the new shit. I just want to go.
Yeah.
I might go like a couple days early on that first home game and just take it in. I just
Scope
wanna,
it out.
God, I can't wait to go in there.
Yeah.
It's
going to be a beautiful
Chimney
thing.
Crickets.
Chimney Crickets asking the great questions. Thank you.
So excited. Getting us all hyped.
I'm so
We are
pumped.
freaking
Let's
hyped.
go right now.
All right, now we move on to the Reddit section of Ask Bolt Fam, and we go to the glorious end. Who asked the question? Hey, boo-boo. It doesn't seem like the Chargers get to keep both Mike Williams and Hunter Henry going into free agency. Henry looks most likely to be re-signed, so could you see Mike Williams getting traded to Frank Reich and the Colts for a third? Who knows? Maybe even the Browns for a Njoku and a fourth. You guys have the best Bolts podcast. Keep it up. K, love you, bye. Smarter than the average man.
That was a good one.
Well, thank you for the compliment,
Yeah, buddy.
Glorious End.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you, glorious end.
I the whole I've never been on this Mike Williams train. I don't see he is too valuable, and everyone wants.
I think it would have already happened.
It would have already.
I think
been
it would have
done.
happened.
Yeah,
I think
he's
it
not
would
going.
have If we're gonna cut Casey before we cut Mike, that would be insane.
Yeah.
Mike is where the bigger amount of money would be saved. So if we are that concerned about cap space, Mike would have been next on the chopping block.
Yeah.
And
Right.
the money's already there. It's already spent, or like we've already allocated that money. So keeping him doesn't take anything away from the cap space as it stands right now. And some people might argue that it's more than what he's worth, but that's not, I don't think that's the case. So it's possible to keep Mike Williams and Hunter Henry after we've made these moves and cleared this cap space. It's just all going to depend on what Henry is going to be asking for. If he's going to be asking for the money that Jonnu Smith just got with the Patriots, then I don't see that happening.
Which he might be,
And he
because
might.
they're kind of at the same tier of tight end, man. In all honesty,
He might.
so
And so if that's the case, then yes, we can expect Henry not to come back. But if Henry comes to his senses and realizes how good he has it here in Los Angeles, then maybe we can
remember
have
the
both.
birthday party. God damn it!
Ooh.
Remember that birthday party.
You were fourth, Hunter. You came in fourth. You beat the birthday boy. You already beat
Don't
him
beat
in
him
one
again.
game. Don't beat him again. All right.
All right.
I think it's possible. I think it's possible to still have them both.
I think we could get both. Yeah.
But there are some tight ends that are still floating around out there that could be viable options to bring in for not Hunter Henry type money if that's the money that Henry's asking for.
There's still so many possibilities.
Time will tell. All right. Now we move on to YNWA Dad 10. You never walk alone.
My boy,
Who
Kyle.
asks the question. Okay. Wild idea, fellas. I know wide receiver isn't our biggest area of need, but there's an awesome wide receiver available that I think we should pursue this offseason. He's a physical monster at 6'4", a freak athlete, elite on jump balls, and has a 1,000-yard season and a 10-touchdown season under his belt. Is still pretty affordable because he hasn't had his breakout year yet and is still only 26 years old. The guy's name? Mike fucking Williams. So my question is, why are certain fans so willing to get rid of this guy? Are we as fans guilty of just always thinking the grass is greener on the other side? If Mike was on the Bears or something, we'd all be salivating at the thought of pairing him up with Keenan, Hunter, hopefully, and Eck. If we draft a shifty slot guy like Tutu Atwell, I would say a wide receiver room between Keenan, Mike, slot guy, and our two-speed guys, Jalen and T. Billy, is looking pretty fucking perfect. Thoughts?
This you could not have. This is you basically took the words out of my mouth.
Thank you.
Thank you. Like
Also, Liverpool just won earlier today, so congrats
You
to you.
never walk alone. You never walk alone. Hey!
You did it, Kyle. Good work, boys.
Not even
That's
close.
the new
Go
anthem.
on, Kevin.
No, but this is something I see every single day on social media. Being a Charger fan, it's the grass is greener syndrome, where it's like you are familiar with this guy, but there's always the thought of like, ooh, what can we get for him? I know what this is. I don't know what that is, but at some point you need to just stop. You just gotta stop. Like there's certain players that are good. Just because you're familiar with them doesn't mean they're not awesome and can be even better in the future. You just think you know what their glass ceiling is, but they could break through that. So that's the big thing I have with this Mike, people bringing up Mike Williams and that kind of thing is like, he's such a talent and he just needs to have that blowout year. And then I hope it sucks because if it's this year, you're gonna have to pay him like out of control. But
if it's this year, we could win a Super Bowl.
I'll take that.
The guy's awesome.
Go out of your mind, Mike Williams. Show everybody how good you can be the highest paid wide receiver the next year, and then I'll keep my ring.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like the guy's a great. Everyone's like, oh, he goes up too aggressively and he gets hurt. What the fuck do you want him to do? You want him to not catch the ball?
Yeah,
like the guy is laying his body on the line to make these awesome acrobatic jump ball catches. Okay, yeah, maybe he gets dinged. He doesn't miss that many games, to be honest.
Because that's the big thing. A lot of people say like, oh, he's always injured. Dude's only missed like 6 or 8 games out of his first 4 seasons. Like that. And Keenan Allen missed more games in his first 4 seasons.
The whole season,
than Mike Williams. So get the injury. That's not viable. Okay. We've talked about it before. Kyle's mentioned like Mike Williams isn't a high volume guy. Like that's not his forte. His forte is making those big plays, getting those big
80-20 balls.
80-20 balls.
80-20.
That's his forte. So you're not going to see the big volume, even though he did have a season where he had over 1,000 yards. Like that's not his forte. But he's capable of doing that. So if he gets targeted more, then that's a possibility.
Well, if he didn't have Keenan Allen on his team, he would have 1,000 yards.
He is a complementary player to Keenan Allen. Now, I can understand when people say, well, $15 million is too much to spend. Okay. Then I think he should, if in a perfect scenario, he would get his contract realigned, add a few more years, but make this year not $15 million.
So question, $15 million, I know you guys are paying for this coming out of your pocket. Fourth quarter, your playoff game to go to the Super Bowl. You have one throw left and it's a jump ball in the end zone. Who do you want back there trying to catch that ball?
Over Mike Williams. Who's
no
better
one.
than
No
Mike
one in the
Williams
league I want
that?
trying to the last ditch effort pass and catch to win us a game.
Are you sure?
He is so reliable with that. And do you guys, we talk about one of our most favorite
Adam
moments
has someone in mind.
ever. We have we talk about this all the time. Our most favorite moment ever in recent memory
100%.
is him catching and beating the Chiefs.
100%.
Do you remember being that happy before? I don't remember being that excited after a win before. Like it hasn't been a long time. So
I'm dying.
Just keep that in mind. It might not be the best, but It might not be what you want, but the grass is always greener, and I like the grass we're on right now.
Okay, I'm dying, Kevin. Kevin,
I gotta let him make his point.
you.
I just gotta let him make his
you.
point. I just think it's funny because of how tall Donald Parham is and how much Kevin was just singing his praises.
Well, Donald Parham can't catch a ball. Dag nabbit. He blew the Raiders
two monsters
game.
on the same team. Sign me up.
I know,
baby.
I'm just being silly about it. I agree that I think Mike Williams should stick around. The money's already been allocated for him. The only reason that you would cut him is to make more room for somebody else, anybody that could play as well as Mike Williams.
Another hole.
Yeah, it's another
Perfect.
hole. So I understand that you think it might be more. There's still time this offseason to restructure that contract and make it so that it's not necessarily $15 million this year, but maybe we extend it and now it's $30 million for 3-4 years or something like that.
Yeah, let's come to a consensus. Do we think that Mike Williams is slightly overpaid?
Yes.
But I'm okay with that.
Yeah, we're okay
Like,
with that.
Yeah, he's being overpaid a little bit, but not a Trey Turner drastic. Like, how could we pay this guy this much money?
And he's not producing. Because he is producing.
Yeah, it's either you pay him a little bit more or you have to fill a spot that's so difficult to replace. So I don't know. Stop hating on Mike Williams.
Leave the guy alone. He's here, whether you like it or not, until somebody else says otherwise. Deal with it. Come to terms with it. That's all we got to say. Get with it. All right. Now we move on to Z the King 1, who asked the question.
With the release of Hayward, what do you think the chances are that we will focus on O-line in free agency and cornerbacks in the draft? Since the free agency cornerback pool doesn't seem that deep. Theatricalities and deception, Batman.
That was good,
That
Bane,
was solid.
dude. That was awesome.
Yeah, it's the same thing we've been talking about where it's like, we're in a weird position because we just cut Hayward. So what do? You sidestep and do an older player that isn't a huge upgrade and it's probably going to cost a similar amount of money, or do you go into the draft? The draft, the more we talk about it, makes the most sense.
Yeah, I think cutting Hayward points, all signs point to the draft, in my opinion.
Let me ask it's not a hypothetical. What's the word?
Rhetorical.
Rhetorical. There you go.
We got big words here on the Chargers.
We
chat.
do. We use big ones.
Yeah.
What age is a player considered a veteran?
After their first contract.
Okay.
Once they've finished out their rookie contract, I consider them a veteran.
So mid-20s.
So would you consider Mike Davis to be a veteran?
Now, after this year, yes.
Oh, after this upcoming season?
Right. I wouldn't consider us signing Mike Davis as signing a veteran, but I think moving into this next contract, he is now a veteran. Because after four or 5 years in the league, that's more than most people make it in the league. That's longer than the average. So if you get that second contract, if you get that second contract, in my opinion, you become a veteran.
So I hark back to Craig's point about hiring a veteran to be the bridge gap on that cornerback situation. If we have Mike Davis and we have Chris Harris, in my eyes, those are two veterans going into this next season that can be that bridge with a fresh talent. Like I'm with you. I think drafting a cornerback just seems to be the right move. There's no other bridge that needs to be built for a new, fresh talent cornerback coming onto this team. I think you've got two that could bring them up pretty well, and they can come in and do backup situations. So, yeah, I'm all for drafting a cornerback some point early in the draft. We'll see where. Yes, we'll see where. All right, now we move on to A. Collins 32, who asked the question. Do you think the Chargers should go all in on a Super Bowl run, such as the Bucs or Rams, knowing that it potentially could hinder our future success? Or is slow and steady the right approach?
Dude, how long have you been a Chargers fan? I don't care if we give up 400 years. If we can win a Super Bowl, I would give up. I don't care if we have another winning season if we can win a Super Bowl. Yes, do everything you can to win a Super Bowl.
Right
Absolutely.
now, yeah.
And right
100%.
now. Right now.
Do it now while you have him on, while you have Herbert on his rookie contract. This is our window, guys. This is a perfect window. You got to maximize.
What I would give up to win a Super Bowl, I don't even want to say
hopefully you don't
it
have to
out
give
loud.
up
This is on a
anything.
recording. Good
Your
golly.
dignity. And then that
You
tapers
said
off into
so
a whole
firmly,
bunch of things.
Your dignity.
I'd give up my dignity. I'd do awful things for a Super Bowl.
Yes, I would. So if that means the future, yeah, that's fine. Because whatever, let's win a Super Bowl now.
All in.
And Sloan said he doesn't win the race. We all know we don't have any rings, so
we've got nothing to
fast.
show for it. So
let's
far.
get fast.
Let's get fast. Let's get heavy. All right. Now we move on to Bolt Fan 43, who asked the question. With us still having to pay for all our upcoming draft picks, how much cap space do we really have to spend in free agency?
Kevin, take it away. You did some serious research.
Math.
Okay, so Daniel Popper had a great, out of the three guys in the Chargers chat, I guess I'm the only one that subscribes to The Athletic because that's where I get all the nitty gritty.
Yeah, I don't pay for it. I just wait for you to give it to us.
So Daniel Popper had a great article on it. So basically, they started off with $47.14 million in cap space, which was the fourth highest in the league. But the actual number now is $29.7 million. And a few things go into this. The Linsley signing will end up losing $6.6 million in our cap, but that's not quite adding up to 47. So there's a few more things. So the Chargers will need to allocate a net total of $3.8 million in space for their 9 draft picks. That'll hit the cap. The Chargers are also currently have only 48 players on the roster, and they need to add some more players because they need to have 51 players on to have the minimum amount on a roster. So
minimum.
The money allocated for some of those, deep players, backup players, will cost a little money. And then Telesco is also typically likes to hold on to some money for crazy shit that happens during the season, injuries, blah, 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 blah. And that's about $5 million. So what we're looking at right now without knowing exactly what the Feiler and Davis contract are going to hit us with, which shouldn't be crazy if they found a way to get $6.6 million out of the Linsley contract. The Davis and Feiler should be somewhere comparable. So I'm thinking you're probably going to have high teens once that's all settled, something in there, and then that's what you have to spend on for the cap for the rest of all the toys we want to try and pick up over the next week or two. So, and this is ever changing, like it's constantly moving. And dude, the way they do the fucking accounting in the NFL is just mind-boggling. It's like such cheating. Like they would definitely get audited if this was normal tax season. You know what I mean?
Cheaters.
It just feels like okay, we're gonna give you $300 billion, but this year, $900,000 against our cap.
Yeah.
How did we do it? Can't explain it. Don't know how we did it.
Not gonna do it.
Not gonna do it.
The Tom Brady thing, they gave him a 3-year extension, but they could cancel all 3 years, and somehow that saved them a bunch of money in the cap.
Makes no goddamn sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make
fans,
sense.
we're just like, oh, okay, cool, I guess.
Football.
I tried to go I tried to really study this, and there's nothing to understand. Like I don't have a PhD in physics, so I'll never be able to understand how the shit works.
Yeah, seriously, craziness. We just blindly trust
Daniel Popper.
Right,
come on, Popper, keep it going, buddy. I'll keep my subscription rolling. You keep us with the details.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we have space to fill, and there's still, potentially guys that we still need to bring back, and just needs to see what kind of money that these guys are asking for. I mean, there's still, we've got like the Perrymans, the Isaac Rochelle's, who apparently we just found out today that he's not getting tendered by the Chargers, as well as I think Cole Toner, one of our offensive linemen, is not getting tendered. I don't know if we have any free agents that are getting tendered right now. So
free for all.
There's a lot of guys that we do want to come back as well. It's such a wild free market right now for all of these players that it's who knows who's going to have a need at what position. And I mean, there's some guys that could provide some absolutely solid depth. We just got to wait and see what happens. So obviously Popper's done the math along with Mr. Duggan. We're not entirely positive on the number.
I don't have a PhD in this.
But we're looking at high teens, I think. Is high,
tomato.
Teens.
This is like a C paper. I'd probably get a C in that exam. So it's an average
could be
projection
30 million,
at best.
could be 13 million. Right. We don't know.
You never know.
With
my math.
I'm sure more definitive numbers will be coming out in the not too distant future as we actually start signing some of these guys and not just saying
probably
that we're
after we publish this episode.
Yeah,
right.
for sure.
So show. All right. And now we go on out with Touch of Phallus, who asks a question. Righto, fellas. Got one for shits and giggles. It's NFL realignment time. Which teams would you like to see play the Chargers in a newly formed AFC West? By chopping the continent into Kansas, everyone west includes the Queefs, the Texans, the Cowgirls, the Donkeys, Cards, Sea Chickens, Sheep, 69ers, and the Gators. Should old rivalries remain, or should we spice things up a bit? I'd like to request Bulldog doing an impression of 10-year-old coach throwing a tantrum that Hugger won't give him a turn on the Xbox.
It sounds just like the.
Come on,
the little.
That's sweet. 10-year-old coach was probably mad about the Sega Dreamcast, not the Xbox.
Wow,
though.
way to date yourself.
Yeah, it was a Sega Dream. There was some GoldenEye getting played for sure. Yeah. Kyle, what was the meanest thing I ever did to you?
Oh shit.
You chased me around the house with a knife.
Yeah, I did.
Sure.
I did do that.
You also, when we were kids, we shared a room and we had bunk beds. And every night he would watch horror movies until I left.
It wasn't until you left. It was just because it was
Chucky.
Yeah.
And then I would go sleep on the couch downstairs, and I'm sure he put on something more enjoyable to watch.
Oh my God.
Friends.
Chased him around with a knife?
He makes it sound way more dramatic.
You also owe me like $1.2 billion for all the chores I did because you promised to pay me.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, Kyle, go get me a soda. I'll pay you $1. Never saw any.
Put it on my tab.
Yeah.
Put it on my tab.
I want my $2. It's Kyle from what is it? Better Off Dead. The Paperboy. I want my $2.
I want my $2.
I want my $2. Sorry, Kyle.
All right.
That's okay.
I wasn't the best big brother. My
apologies.
apologies.
Water under the bridge.
Yeah.
All right. So the new AFC West. I don't want the Chiefs anymore. I want the Gators and the Donkeys. But I would like to switch out the Chiefs. I'd like to play them every year, but not twice a year. And I want to win our division a little more handily. I'd like to toss in the Cowgirls because they're always fun to beat.
I think it's funny that the only team that he didn't give a silly name was the Texans. And I guess that's just because they're a joke in itself, maybe.
No one wants to beat the Texans. That doesn't feel good at all. Like, oh, cool, we beat the Texans. They don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, I'd rather the Chiefs not be in our division, but everybody else.
It does feel, but at the same time, it does feel really good to beat the Chiefs.
It does.
Almost to the point where you want to keep them in there.
It makes us better. It's going to make us better eventually. Like, it really will.
All right. I changed my answer. Status quo. I want to keep all these guys and beat them every year.
Yeah. Kick their asses.
There you go. Touch of Phallus. You heard it straight from the Charger chat. Make it happen. I don't care how many petitions we got to sign. Let's restructure this AFC West.
It's a crazy scenario, though.
And let's change all these names too.
Yeah,
all these team names.
Oh, the team name changes. I'm down for.
Yeah,
it.
Everyone's getting canceled by Monday.
Yeah. The Queefs,
the Gators for
What's
sure.
Wrong with the
the Donkeys.
What's wrong with the Queefs?
What's wrong with the Queefs?
Yeah, come on. What are you talking about? And the Gators. Yeah,
Gators.
You can spell it the normal like alligator.
Sure,
but
we all know. Everybody knows,
we all
especially
know.
Touch of Phallus.
Yeah.
All right.
Such an awesome.
All right. That's going to do it for this episode of Charger Chat. Thank you, folks, for sticking with us. These are so long, but there is so much to talk about in these episodes. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it. We certainly love doing it. I'm laughing my balls off at the end of this episode, picturing Kevin chasing his brother with a knife. So, hey, we'll do it again next week, folks. Don't forget to bolt up because we're ready for any squad, any place.
Okay, love you, bye.
Okay, love you, bye.
Love you, bye.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Tommy, Teenage Mutant Ninja Tommy, Teenage Mutant Ninja Tommy, keeping shit a secret. Coupon power.
Kids are going crazy for the new Tommy Telesco action figures. Each one comes with his own set of moves. Hot check signing action.
Whoa!
Fierce phone answering swings.
Cool!
and his signature karate chop action.
Totally Telesco.
Plus, each figure comes with his own vague catchphrases.
I think you got to keep all doors open at this point.
Radical.
We're looking to try and build the best balanced football team we can.
Awesome.
I'm not going to really get into what we may or may not do.
General Manager Ocious.
So run down to your local Kmart and get your Teenage Mutant Ninja Tommy today.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Tommy, Teenage Mutant Ninja Tommy, Teenage Mutant Ninja Tommy, keeping shit a secret. Coupon power